Hello, bro. My name is Ayan, and I'm sorry. And what I mean to say is, I'm sorry in the context of the content I've been making these days. My main niche is self improvement, like men's self improvement. And for some background, I am 17. I live in India. I plan to move out from my parents' house in a couple of months, and I just wanted to help you with everything that I've gone through and everything that I'm learning as I go on with my life. But I think these days I've gotten into making content that is designed to be viral and content that is like highly optimized, CTR rates, and everything like things that you don't need to know. So I'm revising how I make content, and I'm starting this series called the Coffee Talks. Basically, like I get a cup of coffee, I get some incense sticks, set the mood, and talk to you like you're my younger self. Because that's what I want to do with this. Like my purpose isn't to make money from this. I want to be a centimillionaire, but that is a different part of my life. This is still my business. This is still my purpose. But at the same time, I don't want it to consume everything I do, and I don't want it to be the way I want to make money instantly. I want it to be a journey like everything else. I want my content to help you, not get money from you. So there are two ways I'm going to be making content. One is again coffee talks, and the other is basically these lectures that I'm going to be making for some context using a whiteboard. Wait, yes. So using a whiteboard, and I'm sorry. And like in this video, this is coffee part one, it's like coffee talks part one. And today I'm going to be talking to you about my own background and my journey. So I'm 17 again, and I when I turned 11, that's when I started to realize who I am. Like I started to understand that I have a conscious mind. Like my thoughts are what goes in my life. And by the age of 12, I started to drift away from who I initially was. And I think this is related to the psychology principle where who you are before you turn 10 is like the basis of your mind, and your conscious thoughts start to like get built on the basis of that. So at the age of 12, like I started to drift from who I was at 11. I used to read a lot, and I discovered journaling on myself, just writing stuff about on my life, stuff going on in my life, just writing it down. Like I used to do all of that when I was 11. But when I turned 12, and that year 12 to 13, that was possibly where I started to drift. And it wasn't a one day transformation. It wasn't like I used to read and I just stopped. It was like I used to read one book a week. This is fiction, by the way, but again, one book a week. I used to journal sometimes, and I used to, watch scientific stuff on TV. And I know this is so insignificant, but I actually find this so interesting. Like this is where I started to drift and become another different person who I didn't need to be. And by the time I turned 13, I was probably 50% to 60% already away from who I initially was and wanted to be, honestly. But I was surrounded by bad influences. And by the time I turned 13 and a half, 14ish, that's when I like lost myself. And I completely stopped reading, completely stopped like gratitude journaling, journaling in like general, and life just started feeling bad. Like I got into all of these degenerate stuff. I got into gaming. I got into fapping, and this is the starting of grade 10th, and that's when I discovered self improvement, and I understand the mistakes I've been making and the things that I shouldn't be doing. But at the same time, wait, at the same time I'm like still halfway there. And this transition from the starting of grade 10th till I think half of grade 10th, that was one of the worst times of my life, because that was the time where I was ambitious but lazy as fuck. Like I had no proof to show you that I was on self-improvement. I was reading books on self-improvement, I was watching content on self-improvement, I had nothing to actually show you that I'm on self-improvement. So that was probably one of the lowest in my lives. And then grade 10th came, and my parents started to pressurize me for grades. So I started to just lock in. I went in blazing guns and just like studied for the next 6 months, forgetting everything else. Got 94% in boards, got cocky, got a big ego. Even though I'm just like 16, just turned 15, by the way, just turned 15. And end of grade 10th, like one of my friends introduces me to nicotine, and that like just, yeah, got addicted to nicotine. I'm not going to talk about the sources, but yes. And got addicted to that. Then some personal conflict kept going on in my mind about the difference between what's right and what's wrong. And again, like it isn't that major for you watching this, but for me at the age of 15, being addicted to nicotine and everything else that was going on in my life, that was bad for me. But the day when I turned 16, I started to realize that this is actually boy psychology. Like it's time for me to transition to man psychology. You know what I'm talking about? Like people can be 35, working jobs and providing for their family, having kids, but they're still boys inside. Like they're still chasing those toys and they still want those sweets. But you just replace sweets with drugs, and you replace toys with cars, with money, or whatever the fuck. Like, they're still like boys. But man psychology is wisdom, it's stoicism, it's like understanding the philosophies, the ancient traditions, and being who you are, a modern gentleman. Like, that's what man psychology is. Being mentally strong, physically strong, like that's what being a man is. And when I turned 16, like I started to actually like realize that like, I'm still a boy. And my three goals for like 2025 when I turned 16, I turned 16 in 2024, but like my goal for 2025 was basically lose 10 pounds of 10 pounds of fat and gain 3 pounds of muscle. Second was to read 15 books, and third was to get a girlfriend. The first thing I achieved in the first month, and I went from being addicted to porn, like fapping, to the point where I've been in a poor relationship for 1.5 years now, because this video is uploaded in June 2026. 1.5 years polar relationship, completely off anything bad and just healthy, loyal, like truly in a good polar relationship. The first goal I achieved last month. I lost 10 pounds of fat while gaining 3 pounds of muscle. So it took me a little longer. It took me like a year and a half, but still I'm proud of myself to where I got. And the third goal was completely get off nicotine. Not the reading one, the reading one never got. Like, I never read more than 4 books. But the third goal was like get off nicotine, and I'm officially a month clean. And like I've done nothing, and I went from the bad sources to like normal sources. Then I went to like, excuse the voice crack. I went to like normal sources, and then I'm just like completely off, completely cured. That's everything I went through, and I've also picked up some really good habits. Like, I've been doing gratitude journaling very consistently, and I have not missed a single day in this year. I haven't missed. I think I missed 30 days last year, and my goal is to miss like only 10 days this year. I had a 600-day meditation streak, but I broke it because I got too bored and I wasn't doing it properly. So I started a new streak, and like I'm still on self improvement. I'm not going to talk to you like I'm some guru. Like, I'm still a 17-year-old living in my parents' house, moving out, going to university. What I plan to do is just help you with your own journey, because it doesn't matter where you are. If you've watched this video till this point, you've probably related to who I am or who I was, and that speaks volumes, because that shows me that you watching this video and actually sticking with me and relating to me shows me that at least you have some level of actualization, some level of conscious thoughts that tell you that you need to do this. It's not just you being who you are, being a degenerate, being like the bad version of yourself and not even knowing about it. Like, you're doing something wrong, but you never like got to the point where you actually changed it. And that's my goal. That's my only purpose with this content, like these coffee talks. All I want to do is talk to you about one particular thing, like an hour long, just yapping, me yapping about my own personal journey, my mistakes, and possibly this journey that took me 3 to 4 years of going from boy psychology to man psychology, getting you there in a year and a half. No matter if you're 25, if you're 15, if you're 10, just want to make sure that you're mentally strong, physically strong, emotionally strong, you have a purpose, you understand your masculine energy, and so much more. On the other hand, I'm going to be making these lectures, which is going to be uploaded once a week. These lectures will be me talking to you and like teaching you educational stuff, which is like this video I'm making is on how to get a girlfriend in 3 weeks. This is both theoretical as well as practical. So you have actionable steps in there. Also, you have theoretical things like masculine energy, being the alpha, and understanding what a high quality woman is. That's just an example. We'll have these lectures, and we're going to have like two coffee talks every week. I just sit down, get a cup of coffee at night. It is 12:55 right now on 22nd of May. And so yes, that's the coffee talk for today. I hope you liked it, and I hope that if you watched till the end of this video, you are ready from going from boy psychology to man psychology. So I suggest you subscribe to my channel right now, because it's a win-win for both of us. I get to share my journey and you get to improve with me. If you think if you have some topics that you want me to talk about in the next coffee talk, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.